I'm the Druid of the Circle of Spores. Oh, that was nasty! Oh my god!
Hi everybody, welcome to GameGorgon. My name is Krug.
I'm Indigo.
And today we're here to nerd out about D&D while you listen to us do it.
Nerding out.
Like, yep. Oh. So, currently...
Wait, I'm not done. I didn't mean for that to happen that way.
All right, so Wizards of the Coast releases these kind of behind the scenes of D&D before it comes out. And it's called Unearthed Arcana, and it's classes or feats or just like general ideas that they've come up with that they think will improve the game. And then we, the very avid, entertained D&D people, will then turn around and play them and give our feedback on them. Why don't you tell me the one that you like the most?
I am super into the Wizards' new school of Invention. So, School of Invention, level 2, you get a bunch of stuff. You get mage armor for free, basically using a set of studded leather armor. You can create what's called Arcano mechanical armor. It was very hard for me to learn how to pronounce that word, which is basically 12 plus your dex AC, and it also gives you resistance to force damage. But that is like...
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. It's not super exciting until later levels what the armor can do. At level 2, you also get access to reckless casting, which is like the bread and butter, super awesome oh, it's so good! So reckless casting basically allows you to try to cast a spell that you don't have prepared, and the way you do that is you use a spell slot of the level of spell you're trying to cast, right? So if I want to cast a first level spell, it'll be a first level slot. If you're using a slot that is above 5th level, you're kind of getting diminishing returns because you can only cast up to 5th level spells using this this feature. And so you pick a spell slot you want to use, and then the book provides you a set of tables with spells associated with sides of a D10. And then you roll on that table 2 times, and then you pick what you want to do out of your 2 results. So for example, if we're looking at the cantrip table, some of the options are Acid Splash, Chill Touch, Firebolt, Light, so on and so forth, just a bunch of random cantrips. But then, where it gets interesting, is you can also land on 10, and 10 will say, roll twice and cast each cantrip. So you can double cast on one turn using 1 spell slot and 1 action. But if you roll another 10 on either of the dice, nothing happens.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the Sorcerer's Wild Magic thing in that it's a little bit unpredictable, but it can also be super OP. Like, and it's also just wildly unpredictable in that even if you're trying to cast a spell like Light, you might not land on Light. You're going to get 2 other completely different spells and then decide what you want to do with them.
The other interesting things is the spells themselves aren't just wizard spells. They're spells from the Druid spell class, Cleric, like they're from every single spell class in class. So you can cure mass wound.
Yeah.
Like that's an option for you to accidentally cast.
And if you recklessly cast another class's spells, it's considered a wizard spell for your casting of it. So that's just super chill. The School of Invention has a bunch of other cool features. My other favorite feature is you can use 1st and 2nd level spell slots to modify other spells. And so if you use a level 1 spell to modify a spell that you cast, if it has an element of the list of elements, so fire, poison, thunder, lightning, there's some other ones, you can modify that and pick any other element from the list and just treat it like that element instead, which I think is super duper useful. So you can cast like Sphere of Flame or whatever that spell's called, but make it poison instead. And then if you use a 2nd level spell slot, if you hit with a spell that does damage, you can pick a target. If it's an AoE spell, for example, you can pick any target and deal 2d10 additional damage to that target for that turn, which is strong.
It's also
level 2 spell slot to add 2d10, just like super bursty. Like,
it's also acid, not poison.
Sorry, acid.
That's key difference because
no, you're right.
Because the class that I've chosen is the Druid Circle of the Spore.
Yes.
Which is all about that poison.
All about that poison.
So the key feature that I really like about it is the Spore Halo, which is basically as a reaction that you can spend on your turn, you can choose an enemy and just do 3 damage to them. Just flat 3 damage. Like they don't save.
3 poison damage.
Yeah, poison damage specifically, but they don't save. They don't.
It's not an attack roll.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah. Like it's just, hey, you get 3 damage unless they're resistant or immune to poison.
Right.
And then their wild shape I thought was really interesting. So instead of wild shaping, their spores become alive on their body. And so they they double their spore damage, their halo spore damage. So instead of 3 damage, hey, you're doing now 6 damage. And that number increases as you level, by the way. I think that's important to note.
Yeah.
You also get an additional 1d6 of poison damage with any melee attack. So if you're a quarterstaff wielding druid, you're now doing 1d8 plus 1d6 on your damage roll, which is insane.
Plus 6.
Well, I mean, plus that 6 that you did with the spore damage.
Yeah.
Oh, you also get 3 temporary hit points per level of druid when you use your wild shape form. Yeah, it's very interesting. I really like it. Eventually, way down the line, you become immune to deafness, blindness, and critical hits.
Yeah, you become immune to critical... Okay, not immune to critical hits. You become immune to extra damage because of a critical hit. Which is basically like becoming immune to critical hits. That's pretty good.
I mean, it's not like, oh, you crit, now I take no damage. It's just like, I'm not going to take that crit
Right,
damage.
you just deal no... You hit me. Good job.
Congratulations.
And that's not to mention the fact that you still have access to the druid stuff. So you can still wild shape if you want to, like normal. Like, that class is super utility-ish. I love it. And then like...
I love it.
Oh, I can go through this door and like become normal size and like open it from the other... Oh no, there's a bunch of enemies. I'm gonna do a ton of damage too before my team gets
Before
in
my
this room.
team even goes through the door.
You're gonna walk in and everything's gonna be dead.
So we're gonna also talk about the third class a little bit, but we're gonna kind of share it because it looks cool. It's the brute for the fighter.
It has the fighter problems, right? It's a little bland.
Yeah,
it's strong. It seems strong,
very,
but it doesn't
very
seem
strong.
very interesting. It has like super OP stuff though. Like if you make at level 6, right? If you make a saving throw, you can just add 1d6. There's no limit to it. There's no like you have to be proficient in the saving. No, you just...
It also counts for death saving throw.
Yes, and if you roll a death saving throw, let's say you rolled an 18 and you roll your d6 and you get a 4, so you're above a 20, you get to treat that as a critical success and you get to succeed twice. Wait, is it succeed twice or come back at 1? I don't remember. Whichever one of those 2 things you do in a critical success, because I think we homebrew those rules.
We're a gaming news network, guys.
D&D is really homebrewy, so it's totally reasonable to not understand some of the rules.
The class also gets to just add additional damage just for being a fighter. They're like, hey, you do an extra d4, eventually d6. I think it goes up to a d10.
Yeah, at level 20, you get to just whenever you hit with a melee attack, you get to just do an extra d10 of damage.
Yeah, and all of that sounds really, really powerful, but it sounds really, really boring.
Well, and I would agree that I think it's a little bland compared to the other 2 classes, but the one thing I'll say is that they didn't try to like limit it with quantity. That's my least favorite thing as a player, is having to conserve my resources. I just want to feel strong all the time and have my enemies be also strong. I don't want to slowly decline in power over time.
I getcha.
I don't understand why that's kind of how they like, oh, your spell slots are like super limited, you have to rest to get them back. Like, that's dumb. Just have your enemies be stronger.
I'm okay with it.
You'd be fine.
Why don't you guys let us know what you guys think of these 3 classes down in the comments. Until next time, I'm Indigo, and you can reach me on Twitter at IndigoQT.
I'm Krug. You can get me at KrugQT on Twitter. You can also get both of us at _QueueTimes. See you all next time.
Bye.